further ado, we'll bring on my brother Kwabena. RASULI. What's up?
Hey, you got it, brother. How you feel, man?
I feel all right, man. How you feel?
I'm good. Out there in bright and beautiful LA, man. Wow.
As you see, huh? Because you over there in Gary, it's nighttime now, but it ain't cold right now.
No, it's not cold. It's kind of cool, but it's not cold. It's cold blooded though. What's happening in Gary and Chicago and Detroit and even in LA when it comes to our people. You know, we're in the midst of a violence epidemic. I was listening to the show recently that you all had dealing with the violence, and I can't recall the name of the brother, but he talked about sometimes he listens to this music. It even affects the way he drives. You know, when he listens.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the other day. And it's music is everything. Music is culture. As we know, culture is everything. Culture is a people's way of life. We deal with our culture from how we get prepared for our unborn to how we bury our dead and everything in between. And so, with music being such a large part of our culture, it's a shame that we don't have control over it, which is something that you guys talked about on that show, that we have to get control over it again. We had some semblance of control over it at one time, but now we've lost that control. And those who have control of it now, obviously hate us. You know, the evidence is there. If we listen to the music and the shows that they promote and push, which demean and degrade us all the time in this music. When it comes to rap music, hip hop, and brother, you and I have been into this since it came out, and I know you are a hip hop head. You know, I am too. And yes, and but I cannot disagree with our recent ancestor, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, when she said that rap music has annihilated the self-respect of Black people. It has annihilated it. Used to be a time we'd say, well, the underground rappers, they're not doing that and what have you. And now even the underground rappers, the rappers that, aren't really mainstream, too many of them are giving us too much negativity. You can't even make a rhyme without dropping an N-bomb, without slipping in a B or disrespecting our people. And too many of them, not all of them. There are plenty of rappers, and even some who are supposedly conscious, who still do this. And like I'm gonna mention some names tonight. We're not apologizing for that because they call us all kind of crazy names. But our brother Talib Kweli from Black Star, and I haven't yet to. It's a shame I haven't been able to get a hold of their latest album. But I went to a concert with him. I had to leave the concert disappointed because he kept dropping N-bombs during the concert.
That's not like him.
Oh, it's like him. When I was to his podcast, sometimes he can hardly even say a couple sentences without dropping N-bomb.
Wow.
And it's if it was some of the other rappers who lack the consciousness, it's still not cool, But you're a conscious brother. You know better. You know better. So when you have situations like that, it even makes it worse. So, but we're feeling right now, and with this, I guess the more publicity it's getting, but it's been getting a lot of pub lately. But with this uptick in violence, that one of the things that's being left out is the influence of the music and the lyrics in the music, especially the music that targets specifically African children and youth. Tells us that we should handle our conflicts by shooting and killing each other. As a matter of fact, a lot of times in these songs, they won't even be a conflict. They'll be saying some pornographic rhyme, disrespecting women, or saying something silly and something stupid, I should say, not silly, stupid. And then here comes this line, I'm gonna run up in your mama house. I'm gonna run up in your house with the shotty, and your mama might be at home. Out of nowhere. This is the type of stuff that's being broadcast to the masses of our youth constantly on these killer radio stations and beyond, and in the midst of video games and on their portable listening devices. And like you said, when they gave the intro, bro, it's back to back to back to back to back. It don't stop. When we look at the nearly 20,000 homicides that occurred in the United States last year, in this murder capital of the world, pretty much, this gun violence capital of the world, when we look at the nearly 20,000 of them, nearly 60% of those who were murdered are about 13% of the population. We're talking about African people. When we look at the killings just in Chicago, in the area where I live, where there was like 830 something people murdered, homicide victims last year in 2021. the vast majority of it. It was 800 and something, 760, 70 of them were African. And again, this is what's happening constantly throughout the United States. The numbers, as a matter of fact, numbers of Chicago may be down a little bit so far this year. But I mean, who am I to say that to the 13-year-old who was shot the other day, or the twin sister who was shot in Maywood and killed the other day, or the 7-year-old that was killed? You know, so who am I to say that the numbers are down? The actual numbers are down, but the crime and the fratricide continues, and it's being promoted. So let's give an example real quick of what we're talking about. We work with the Clear the Airways Project. That's the name of our group. Clear the Airways.
That's right. That's right.
And one of the things on our main to remove from these radio stations songs with lyrics that demean and degrade our women, songs that drop N-bombs on us, that promotes ignorant materialism, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, drug slanging, and for us to shoot and kill each other. We want that off the radio. We don't do that on nobody else's radio station like they do, just the ones, not just that target us, but target our children and our youth. And so we have to be aware of that, and we have to stop it. They've already proven that they're not going to stop it on their own. We have to make them stop it. And so as we deal with these issues of violence in the Black community, again, it's been too many people, or too many groups, or too many politicians. They're leaving out the fact that the music is promoting and pushing it. And we're not. We want to bring attention to that fact so we can have some action to put a stop to it.
All right.
Okay.
Keep going. I was
going to say in 2016, there was 980 people murdered in Chicago, 980 homicides in Chicago in 2016. Almost 12 people a day were being shot. And again, if there's 12 people a day being shot in Chicago, 11 of them look like us. And at the end of 2016, of course, we go on to the next year, January 2017. We were monitoring the No Heart station. They call it iHeart everywhere else. It used to be Clear Channel. We were monitoring the station. In Chicago, they were doing their top 9. I think it was maybe their top 9 at 9. And out of those top songs, 5 of them had in the statement, and they asked the question, if Young Metro don't trust you. Does anybody who's on there, do you know the answer to that question? If Young Metro don't trust you?
Don't kill you. He gonna shoot you.
I'm gonna shoot you. That's what the answer to it is. When we present, sometime we ask that question, and we tell the youth don't say nothing. And the adult with that is like we're a fool, but they don't know what the answer is. And we tell the youth, okay, now y'all can say something. They say, I'm gonna shoot you. If Young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. That tagline was in 5 of the top songs that evening in late January on this European-owned radio station that targets African children. It was in a song called Bad and Bougie, a song that stayed #1 for like about 4 months, a song which dealt with pretty much all the issues we just talked about we wanted to get out. Bad and Bougie dealt with all that, slanging drugs, shooting you with a 30-round, 30 caliber, weapon with 30 caliber bullets, disrespecting women, effing on your bitch, she a thot. I'm cooking up crack in a crock pot. And by the way, it kicked off with, if Young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. There was a song called, what was the song by the brother out of Detroit, Big Sean? He's flowing on this song. And that song was in top 10 that day, that evening. If Young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you's in there. Kanye West had a song, Who Don't Care About Black People, West, had a song out called Reach Out My Hands to My Father. In this song, he used a tagline from Metro Boomin, which said, if Young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. There was a song called XBITCH. That was in the top 10 from No Feature and 21 Savage. If Young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. There was a song by Lil Uzi Vert. We call him Lil Lucifer. Lil Uzi Vert is his name. This is the dude that put that 20,000, 25,000 diamond right here where his third eye is, blocking his third eye until it fell out or somebody took it out about a year ago. So he had a song called You Was Right. I met this sister at the club. You told me I should have just took her in the bathroom and hit it, but I took her home. We got busy. Later on, I found out she was with 5 other dudes. I got mad. I took it out on her family. I effed her sister and made her vanish. I made her vanish. And oh, by the way, if Young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. 5 songs in their top 10, less than a month after we finished the year with 780 homicides, most of them African. And this is what they're programming our children with on the radio, on this No Heart, I Heart European-owned radio station. This is what they're doing.
And the sad part of that is that song and songs like that will not only be played on the radio, they'll be played in a youngster's individual headphones, and they'll walk right past their parents and they won't even monitor what they're listening to, or they might even hear it and be so tuned out that they don't even care, ain't even paying attention to it. So that's what we have to work on as well, raising the consciousness of our people. While you're fighting the battle with the radio stations, we also have to fight the battle within our own community. So we won't even appeal to that, because there's a lot of people out there who will look at what you're doing and say, oh man, we like this music. You just an old fogey. You know, you don't like it, turn it off, but we like this music. So leave us alone. Let us enjoy what we enjoy. Everybody got a right to listen to what we want to listen to.
Yeah, and that's why we do these presentations and talk about this and share this information, because we need to be made aware. Most of the time, like you said, we have struggles with this. Very rarely does it come from the youth and the children, because they're being force-fed this madness, and a lot of them realize that, hey, this is crazy. You know, I can't believe they played that on the radio. I can't believe she said that. I get that all the time from them, and very, very seldom do we get pushback from the students when we go speak in the schools or the youth. You know, we get some good questions, what have you, but they understand because they hear the lyrics. The lyrics are being forced onto them. I want to give another example. That one was from 5 years ago. I want to give one from the other day. You know, typically during these European holiday weekends, or so-called holiday weekends, there's a lot of fratricide going on in these containment areas where Africans are struggling to survive the United States. And one of the worst ones is the 4th of July. And on the 4th of July weekend this year, on July 1st, which was a Friday, leading into that weekend, we had to ride to Detroit. And so we had to get up early in the morning. So as soon as we got up, we tuned into the radio station, the European-owned radio station, as soon as we got in the ride. And we heard that they were playing the song, debuting the song from Cardi B Gone, Lil Durk, who's a so-called drill rapper, and again, Kanye West. The song was called Hot, S-H-I-T. They were playing this song every hour at the top of the hour. And Cardi B says in one of the lines in the song that, just got me a new chopper, can't wait to use that bitch. And she goes on to say something else about she thought she had killed someone before. I guess it's going to be deja vu. I'll just kill him again or murder him again. But this is what she says in this song, leading into the weekend. A weekend where it was a Chicago area. We had like 110 shot that weekend, including that 30, shot in the white community just north of Chicago on the 4th of July. And these Africans here in Gary, where I live, there were 10 shot later on that evening, 3 of them dying. A couple mass shootings that happened. And so this is what they were playing leading into that weekend. And on that next day, tuned into the radio again, and they were playing this song, We Want Smoke. We need all y'all who are listening, if you haven't seen the video yet, most people probably have, because it's 135 plus million views of this song called We Want Smoke by Nardo Wick. He has on there with him again 21 Savage that we mentioned earlier, Lil Durk, and another Chicago rapper named G Herbo, they call him now. And this song, We Want Smoke, is straight up about killing ends. 14 ends gonna die if 13 B ends come at me. He gonna kill all 13 of them and an extra one. So this stuff is so pervasive. This time last year, the #1 song in the country for African children hip hop was a song called Time Today. In this song, Moneybagg Yo said that nobody say nothing, everybody get hit. He gonna shoot everybody. I spin your block twice, come back around, look like the world end. You gonna spin your block, shoot up the block twice, and come back around, it's gonna look like the world end. Oh, we got you, but we were aiming for he, or something like that. They said, basically saying that I shot somebody that wasn't aiming to shoot, and he's not apologizing for shooting him. He just mentioned that, hey, I shot somebody, but I was aiming for him. And the song goes on to be #1. And oh, by the way, she ate the D through the underwear. There's another line in that song. That was #1 in the country for African youth this time last summer, during a year, again, where we had nearly 20,000 homicides in the United States of America. To quote our brother, like y'all did a couple weeks ago, Dr. Amara, like to quote our brother H. Rap Brown, America, violence is as American as cherry pie or apple pie, that he said back in the day, our political prisoners. And so this is what they do. And before that, the #1 song was a song called Back in Blood, where the rapper says in the chorus, repeated several times, I ain't got nowhere to go. I done shot up everywhere they was. Everywhere they was. Everywhere they was is where our little girls are, is where our children are, where our elders are, is where the innocent, where the bystanders are. And the rapper says, I done shot up everywhere they was. That was the #1 song Memorial Day weekend last year. And that's the same weekend, the artist who did that song, his name is Pooh Shiesty, where he shot somebody in a strip club in Florida, and he's now in jail still for that, and another shooting that he had that's captured on video. So he's in jail for that. That's a Memphis rapper. And also Lil Durk, we keep mentioning him. He's one of the hottest rappers out there. He's out of Chicago again. His older brother got shot in a strip club, or outside of a strip club, just south of Chicago. I think it was in Dalton or Markham or Harvey, one of them cities just south of Chicago. Another one of them small ghetto suburbs where Africans struggling. His brother was at a strip club that same Memorial Day weekend, and he gets shot and loses his life. But I ain't got nowhere to go because I done shot up everywhere they was the #1 song in the country for young Africans. So, and we mentioned some of these artists. Now, I know we got a little more time because I know we went have some dialogue back and forth. But we mentioned some of these artists, and we want to make sure that we understand that even though we mention these artists, we know they are just puppets. And a lot of times they're high paid and well paid puppets, tokens for the system to put out there for us to emulate. And we know that if these artists decide, hey, I'm not going to do this no more, I'm going to go conscious, they're going to, like you said earlier, brother, they're going to censor them. We know if these brothers die or lose their life like Pop Smoke or like so many others, all they're going to do, or like a Young Dolph or Pop Smoke, all they're going to do is just find somebody else to take their place. If they go to jail like Bobby Shmurda or others, they'll find somebody else. They'll bring up some other rapper that they'll make a star.
Well, that's the thing I was going to bring up, because as you're mentioning these artists, I'm thinking about the fact that they even choose to make these type of records. And their excuse would be, if I try to be conscious, I won't sell. So it's all for money. Like you said, they stop, they'll find somebody else to do it because of money. So we have to work on also the materialistic attitude of our people. You do anything for money. If you sell your soul for money and do things unmoralistically for money, then that money that you get is not going to solve your problems, because you still have a moral fiber that's lacking, and you'll spend that money being dysfunctional. So we have to get that message out as well, everybody.
The whole piece about the money, why it plays a major role in this. And again, that's what gets a lot of these artists and trying to get the money. A lot of them, just really want the fame and all that too. But a lot of them, it's the money. But it goes beyond that. One of our comrades in the struggle is Speech Thomas from the Arrested Development. And Speech always tells a story about the first album, 3 Days, 2 Days in the Life. Anyway, that bad album with Mr. Window, People Every Day.
Take me to another place, take me to another land where the police just won't hurt me and there is no racism. Tennessee.
Yeah. So our brother tells us how that album made so much money for the record company. It's sold like crazy. I think they may have got a Grammy or at least nominated for a Grammy for that album. The second album, to me, was just as good, if not better, with more positive messages. And African Side Me, dealing with political prisoners, dealing with nutrition, had a beautiful song on there about abortion and about childbirth. An excellent song on there. I just discovered really a couple of years ago. He said they did not promote that record, not one iota. They could have made money off that album, the record companies, but because the messages and the ideas and the thought-provoking content, they didn't want to hear that. They didn't want us to hear that.
Was Revolution on that album?
I'm trying to think if they put Revolution on that album or not. It may have been on that album. I know, we know it's from the soundtrack from Malcolm X.
Yeah, I remember when I heard that, and I heard Speech go, am I doing as much as I can for the struggle? Are you doing as much as you can for the struggle? As soon as I heard that, I said, oh, no, they ain't going to be playing that.
Yeah. So he makes that point though about it's more that it goes beyond the money. It's about the messages also that they want us to hear, or that they want to force feed to us.